I put the chairs over here.
Good. So everybody, I'm going to put you all on mute.
But that red one's got.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. So we've got people on Facebook Live. Good morning, Maura. Yes, good morning, everybody. So welcome to the Power Hour. Now, let me just share with you what we're going to do on this call. You know, the purpose of this call, because we got some people who are new on the program this month. So welcome to all the new Power Agents. We're glad that you're here. You know, the purpose of this call is to go over, this call is going to be different. Well, this is going to be pretty much what we've been doing over the past couple of years, but we're going to move into a new format after this call. And we've been doing a lot more webinars. I'll talk about that in a second. And I want to use these calls, these monthly Power Hour calls, as an opportunity for me to coach you. So you're going to have to cause the value more with these particular calls. Let me go through my slides for a second, so that way it'll make more sense. For those of you that can see my screen, I'm going to go through a little bit of PowerPoint. Those of you that can't, I'll try and articulate it so even though you can't see it, you'll still get the concept here. We've been making a lot of changes to the Power program, and we've got more coming. So I want to share with you some of the things that we've done. First of all, if you were to go to the Power Program website, which is thepowerprogram.com, and you log in, you would see more tabs that are added. For example, over to the left, you'll see it says bonus webinars on demand. There's farming, self-promotion, prospecting, servicing, and we're going to be adding some more tabs. And with that, we've added some content to these tabs. Now, here's just an example. And now, those of you that are looking at the screen, you're going to see a plethora of every single line that you see on that screen is something for you to download or use. So, for example, you'll see expired letters. There's a series of letters. Now, in some cases, you'll see some redundancy, like where it says building, listing, inventory, prospecting, you'll see some duplicates because it applies to both categories as far as prospecting and building inventory. You'll see dialogue that's there. And anytime we add something new, you'll see that little red thing that says updated. Below there, you'll see the farming. There's a couple of farming letters that are new that we added, a couple of flyers that we've added, another vacant. There's a ton of stuff. So here's my point, gang. We're going to truly use the Power program as your online training support. Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing in the months this year to come is I'm actually going to create a whole video program, training program on demand for you, where I will go through all of these topics. So we're very excited. In addition to these monthly calls, which again is really supposed to be to help coach you. So that means you're going to ask me questions and I'm going to coach you. This is like, we should probably change the name of the Power Hour to Ask Darryl. Because, you know, you've got to ask me the questions and then I'm going to coach you through it and help everybody on the call. But what we've also added is full-fledged webinars for an hour, which has slides and PowerPoints and handouts. So, for example, those of you looking at the screen, some of the webinars that we did so far this month is how to double your income, the 12 best ways to increase your listing inventory in the next 30 days, FSBOs and expireds unleashed. We have another webinar coming up in the beginning of this coming month, which is going to be how to do the listing appointment. So we're going to break down the listing appointment real specifically. So we're very excited. So we're actually adding more sessions and material for you. This is another example of some of the stuff that we just recently uploaded to the Power Program website. This is all under the word classroom. There's the letters, there's flyers. I love that Facebook Live thing that we've given you. The truth is, we're giving you more than you can probably use because we want this to be like a Chinese smorgasbord, like use what works for you and leave what doesn't at the buffet, right? And there's a couple of ebooks in the bottom left-hand corner that we created for you. Also, we've been sending out, since the beginning of this year, weekly Power Agent newsletters. And in these newsletters, we're focusing on some of the things that we've added for you, some of the videos. So make sure that you're getting those emails. It's going out every week. Julie, what's the day that these go out? And you hit start.
They go out on Tuesdays.
What's that, hon?
They go out on Tuesdays.
All right, so Tuesday is when they go out. I need to increase the volume on my speaker. So, gang, if you aren't getting these on Tuesday, check your junk folder. If it's still not in there, you give us a call. But check the junk folder first, all right? Let's see, what else? Oh, we also have a blog now on the Power Program website. That's actually the wrong domain, Julie. I'll fix that. But if you guys, when you go to the Power Program, up top, you will see, oh, no, that is the right one. I apologize. You'll see a link for the blog. And the blog has some other great stuff that's free to you guys. Don't forget to use the Facebook group. Now, let me just show you what the Facebook group. This is what the Facebook group we were using to upload a lot of flyers, as you see here on the screen. But we're not going to be doing that anymore because all of this stuff is getting uploaded to the classroom portion of the Power Program. So we're going to use the Facebook group more for networking, more for questions. I belong to the National Speakers Association, and we have our own closed group. It's just for other speakers. And I'll tell you, this is an incredible group because if another speaker has a question about whether it's delivery style or it's prospecting or it's advertising, they'll throw the question out to the group, and then the group responds. Now, the group's response is incredible because people give so much information. So here's my point. This group will only be as powerful for you as you participate in it. So please check the Facebook group on a regular basis. If somebody has a question, give them your 2 cents. If you have a question, put it out there. Now, I'll make sure that, I check the group. So if no one else responds to your question, I'll respond myself. Here's something else we're going to be rolling out probably in the next 30 to 60 days. And we're going to actually be creating Power Agent profiles in the website. So you'll get a notice to fill out a profile with your photo, the office that you work in, the city that you work. So that way there'll be an online directory of Power Agents throughout the country. So that way if you need a referral or you have a question, you'll be able to use our membership site for that too. So we're very excited about doing that. All right, this is other stuff. I'm not going to go through this. You all know this. This is all part of the program on the website. It's all under Classroom. Okay, let me see. These are some of the magazines. Now, gang, the magazines, this is one of the big changes that's going to happen. For all of these years, what we would do is the magazine, and actually I'm going to jump to this. Hang on a second to actually illustrate it. This is this month's magazine. Margaret Troutman, great Power Agent, shared some incredible stuff. We interviewed her. The interview is on the Power Program website for you. It's about 40 minutes. I just want you to see what the magazine is. So the magazine has always been, we spotlight a Power Agent, we interview them, and then you'll see here on the screen, those of you that can see it, this is a transcription of the interview. So you can either listen to it or you can read it. And but let me go past this. After the transcription, here's what happens to the magazine. So that's the end of the transcription. Then it goes to, every month I would be giving you letters and flyers and checklists in the magazine. We're not going to do that anymore. So the magazine from now on is just going to be the transcript of the interview of the Power Agent for that month. All of these other items that we've been putting in the magazine is going to go online. And I'm going to tell you why we're doing this is because there's so much great stuff in these flyers and checklists and stuff that people would say, Darryl, 1 month you shared this particular ad or this particular flyer. What magazine is it? And honestly, we don't remember. So by putting it on the website, it'll be a lot easier to find it, and there'll also be a search function too. So this is the last month that the magazine is going to look like this. Let me just see if there's anything else. Okay. The last thing is I'm going to open this up to questions in just a minute. But the last thing I just want to tell you all, because I never talked about this on the conference call, you know, the Power Agent logo you can use in all of your advertising. And I just want to point out the reason why this logo looks the way it does is because if you'll notice the symbol there, you can actually see a P and you can see an A in it, so which stands for Power Agent. It has a little bit of a futuristic look to it because we're talking about living from the future in our business. Also, it also looks like a house in the logo. That's the other reason why we did this. That A looks like a house, and that P is kind of engulfing it, meaning that, you know, Power Agents are kind of like supporting and nurturing and helping the whole real estate transaction. And then the last thing is that little line underneath agent looks like a smile face. The reason why we did that is because for our company, our commitment is helping you, the agent, our Power Agent, to have a career worth smiling about. So there's a lot of different messages that we have in this logo, and it took us actually months to find the right logo to create the message that we wanted to create. Summarizing what I've said, here's how you can get the most out of this program continuing, right? And then I'm going to open up the call to questions. Every month when we have this call, the best thing you could do is email me at Darryl Speaks, any questions that you have, because what I'll do is I print out the email, and on the call, I address your question. Now, I'll open up the call to everybody so I can hear you, but if you email me in advance, you're going to get in the front of the queue, so to speak. I'm going to answer these questions first. Let's see. Ask questions and comments on the Facebook group like we talked about. Attend our monthly skill building webinars, which you're going to keep getting emails. And let me show you where else the webinars are. In addition to these calls, they're on the home page of the Power Program website. Mostly everything that you need is on the Power Program website. And you'll see there's the dates of our calls. And whenever we have a webinar, we add that date in order. So right now we don't have the next webinar on there, but we're going to add it for you. Let's see, last but not least, finishing this up. The classroom, go to the website. We talked about that. The monthly interviews. I suggest that you print out the transcription from the magazine, read it before you go to bed, and don't worry about the quarterly thing. That's something else. The last thing is our Power Agent Foundation. So some of you, a lot of you know that I created the America's Hope for America's Children. These are charities. This is a foundation that looks for charities that we give money to. And what some of you may not know is 10% of the revenue from the Power Program goes into this foundation that we created for Power Agents, and then it gives to other charities. These are the local charities that we gave this year. I'm not going to go through them all, but they're all related to children, abuse, anything to help children's lives be better. I'm proud to say that this year, you all, because of your membership, we've donated over $10,000 to these charities. So just want to let you know that thank you, and we're very proud of that. Okay, now let's do this. We're going to open up the call to any questions first. So let's do that. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me do the emails first. How are we doing, Julie? Everything working out okay here?
Yep.
Okay, good. So let's see. Tammy, are you Tammy Garza? Are you on the call now? What you do if you want to ask me a question? I don't know how to do it when you're in front of your computer, but I know if you hit *6 on your keypad, or if on your computer, there should be a little unmute button, but *6 on your keypad will take you off mute. Tammy, are you on the call? Tammy, yes, no? Now, by the way, again, when you email me a question, here's what I'll do is I'll answer the question. We're recording the call. Actually, are we recording it? Hang on a second.
I think you said you were.
Wait a second. I think we are recording it. Hang on, gang. Sorry. If I have to stop it. Okay, I just turned it back on. I turned it off, and I just turned it back on. Okay. Oh, thank you, goodness. Okay. And, Julie, you're seeing these questions come in, right? Okay.
I am.
Thank you, Julie.
Tammy's
all right.
viewing from Facebook, so that's good.
What's that?
Tammy's viewing from Facebook, so.
Oh, she is. Hi, Tammy. Okay, Tammy's on Facebook. All right, so Gang, here's Tammy's question. She said, dealing with a listing that has a flaw of highway noise, when everyone loves the house and they view it, and would have made an offer if there wasn't the highway noise, anything other than price. So the bottom line is what you're asking, Tammy. You got this property, people love the property, but it's got a lot of noise of the highway. What can you do to sell it? Because no one's making offers. So and you want to know if it's something other than lowering the price. The only other option you have, Tammy, is to move the house. Which obviously is probably not a feasible thing to do. So unfortunately, the only solution to that would be price, is to lower the price. You know, there's a whole concept about, but when we sell houses, gang, when we present an offer to a homeowner, there's two things a homeowner should consider, and that's price and terms. And obviously for a homeowner, the ideal situation is to get great price and great terms. But on the buyer side of things, if they're going to give great price, they want better terms, or vice versa. So sticking with that same concept, I was talking to a friend of mine. He said, hey, you can name the terms of the deal as long as I get to name the price, or vice versa. So going back to your question, Tammy, is that if you've got something about the house that can't be fixed, the alternative is fixing the price. And that means lowering the price. Now, here's how I would talk to the homeowner about it. I would sit down and have a meeting with the homeowner and go over, first of all, put together everything you did. By the way, gang, what I'm suggesting for Tammy would apply to any of us if we need to have a conversation with a homeowner about adjusting her price, or their price. Is the first thing is you have to validate to the homeowner that you've worked as hard as you could marketing the property at the price that they originally hired you for. You can't ask a homeowner to come down if they think you haven't worked hard enough. So imagine if you go to a homeowner and you sit down with them and you say, Mr. Ms. Hanan, I want us to review where we are in the process of getting your property sold. I wouldn't tell them I'm coming over for a price adjustment. And when I came over, I would have something that visually shows all of the marketing that you've done. When did the website when did the information get inputted into MLS? When did it get on the website? When did you do the broker's open house? How many people came to the broker's open house? Did they fill out an opinion sheet? When you did a public open house, what day was that? How many people showed up? How many calls did you make after that? In other words, you want to overwhelm the homeowner and say, here's everything that I've done since you hired me to get the property sold. And you want that homeowner to look at that and say, wow, that's a lot. And then I would show them, if they've been on the market longer than your MLS average days on market is, I would show them that. So after I overwhelm them, they said, geez, that's a lot of work. Yes, it is. Now let's take a look at something, because I got concerns. The average days on market for our price range, or for this past quarter, anything that shows a good number, has been, 32 days. And my concern is, with all this marketing that we've done, and we've been on the market 50 days with no offers, that's telling us something. If you were me, Mr. Ms. Hanan, and you have a product you're trying to sell, and you're doing all this marketing, and no one's even expressing an offer or an interest. Let's say you were selling a car, or you were selling a couch, and you're trying to promote this product, and people are looking at it, but no one's even making an offer. What do you think the problem could be? And let them tell you, well, maybe it's the price. So, Tammy, that's what I would do. I would sit down and have that kind of conversation with the homeowner. That's the only thing that's going to fix that property. Tammy, I see you on Facebook. Did that help you at all? I'm getting a delayed reaction from Tammy. I don't see nothing. I hope that's a yes. Okay, now, let's see. Jackie Thompson, are you on the call? Jackie, if you're on the call, hit *6. Take yourself off mute.
Hello, Darryl. This is Jackie.
Hey, Jackie. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing super, darling. So why don't you ask me your question your way as opposed to me reading it so people can hear your voice?
Oh, well, my question is, how can you help me motivate myself to make my daily prospecting calls? I've been trying to do 5 conversations a day for a long time, and I just never do it. You know, I do 1 or 2, and then I stop.
Yeah, so Jackie, this is a great question because this would apply to a lot of us. You know, the majority of us on this call, we know how important prospecting is in our business. We're only as good as our last sale. So the challenge in our business is that we got to keep generating it. That it's not going to happen all by itself. I'm gonna pull out a camera here because I just dropped my papers. Okay, now anyway, Jackie. So when it comes to prospecting, it's almost like, so I just want to paraphrase what you said, is that originally you had a goal to talk to 5 people a day. Is that correct?
Correct.
And how are you doing with that?
Not good. I've been trying. My goal last year was to do 5 a day, and I didn't do it, and then I didn't meet my goals, and I'm trying to do it again. But I don't know. I just I don't want to call, or I'm sort of like a shy person. I don't know what to say, or things come up, and I have to do something else, and I just can't get the discipline to keep it going. Yeah.
So here's what I was thinking when I read your question, Jackie, is that if we look at let's use a diet as an example. Now, a lot of us, because even myself, I think a lot of us can relate to this, or some of us go into the gym. When we don't want to, and there's been studies done on this, when we don't want to do something that we know is good for us, and we want to create a habit in doing that, there's a few suggestions that I have. Are you ready, Jackie?
Yes, I'm ready.
Number 1 is, just like a diet, what's the best diet? It's the diet that you're willing to commit to doing consistently, right? So there's Nutrisystems, MetaFast, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, blah, blah, blah. So first of all, you have to commit to something that you know you're going to commit to. Therefore, when you say to commit to talking to 5 people a day, maybe that was too aggressive for you. Maybe it should be 2 a day. At least getting in the habit of picking up the phone and making calls. You can always increase your numbers later. The problem with starting off with, let's say, 5, well, if you do 5 your first day and then you skip the second day because, again, you didn't want to, you found distractions, and now on the 3rd day, you've got to do 10 to make up for the 5 you missed the day before. You with me so far?
Yes.
And now when you get to day 4, if you miss 5, in other words, before you know it, in just a week, you're going to be like 50 calls behind, and or close to that, and now you're just going to quit and say, forget it, I'm not going to do it. Same thing if you're on a diet and you cheat one day, or you have a cookie and you're not supposed to. Some of us may say, oh, well, I already screwed up the diet for the day. I'll just keep eating bad the whole day. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, I hear some people laughing from personal recognition. Number 2. Number 2 is you want to remove the obstacles to make, hang on, is there a problem?
We can't see you on video.
Oh, you can't see me on video. Okay, hang on.
We can hear you fine, though.
Yeah, all right, as long as you can hear me. I don't know why the camera, so we got to contact the company. I just restarted the camera, gang. If it happens again, Julie, you can interrupt me. It's a simple fix, all right?
Okay.
The second thing, Jack, what's that?
There you are.
Okay, good. Yeah, just let me know if it happens again. The second thing, Jack, is you want to remove obstacles, meaning that the harder it is, I'm going to give you an example. I was on a diet one time called MetaFast, and they're fixed shakes and whatever. And for a while there, I had them in the kitchen, in the pantry, and I found I wasn't actually doing it, Jackie, because what I had to do is actually walk into the kitchen, go into the pantry, open up the door, find which meal I was going to have. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
So what I did is I took all the boxes and I put it on the dining room table where I always walk past all the time. And so the fact that I took it was such a stupid little obstacle, but actually I learned this when I was writing my Smile book, on how removing obstacles is such an important thing. So when I did that, I actually lost 25 pounds during that 6 months because I made it easy for me to actually do the program. So whatever obstacles you have in prospecting, you want to try and remove those, whatever it might be. And when I mean obstacle, the longer it takes you to actually do it is what I mean. So let's say you have a messy desk and maybe you need to clean it up. Maybe having your files and leads already done for you. Maybe before you leave the office that day, you have your leads already for the next morning, so now you're already done with that. Are you following me here?
Yeah, that's probably a big part of it. I have to gather my phone numbers and the people I'm calling and that.
Yeah, so that would be considered an obstacle. It's a roadblock. I shouldn't even say obstacle. It's a roadblock, like a speed bump in the road. It slows you down, and every time you hit a speed bump, it takes away your momentum. Just think of a car. If you're driving a car at 30 miles an hour in this area and you've got this speed bump, that speed bump is going to slow down your motion. So now you're going from 30 to 20. Are you with me? And then you need more energy to press the gas to get back to 30. So every little stupid thing that may not seem significant, it is when you're trying to create a habit of doing something you don't want to do. And the last thing is, don't worry about your skill. What I want you to focus on in prospecting is, I don't know what to say, I'm nervous, I'm not outgoing, whatever that stuff is. For you, Jackie, what's more important is you getting in the habit of picking up the phone and talking to 2 people a day. That's it. Don't worry about whether you get the appointment. Don't worry if you know what to say. Let go of your insecurities. Be committed to the action, and the results will happen by itself. Once again, I'll use that diet as an example. You don't go on a diet on day 1 and you lost 30 pounds on day 2. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, it seems like nothing's happening, but over time, you'll see the results. The same thing with prospecting. Does that make sense, Jackie?
It does. Thank you.
Did I help you, Ben?
Yeah, I got to commit to it, remove the obstacles, and just really do it. Commit to the action, even if it's 2 a day.
Exactly. Have it be something you know you'll do, and if it'll help you, put up a little chart for yourself. Print out one of those count. And by the way, I would say 5 days a week, not every day. So if you did 5 days a week, listen to what I'm saying. If you did 5 days a week and you did 2 a day, that's 10 calls a week. That is 40 calls in a month. I promise you're going to see results. And if it helps you, print out a 30-day calendar and hang it up somewhere visible, and every day you make your calls, write the number in the day of the people you spoke to. So on Monday you spoke to 2. On Tuesday you spoke to 1. On Wednesday you spoke to 3. And then did 4. So start writing your numbers, because that's a way of checking off, holding you accountable, because that's the other thing, is accountability that we need, okay?
Okay, yeah, I could do the 30-day calendar. Thanks.
All right, good. Thank you, Jackie. All right, Jackie, put yourself back on mute. And let's see if we have anybody else has a question. Again, this is your time to ask me and for me to help you. So hit *6 on your keypad one time. That'll take you off mute. So who's got a question? You're up. Julie, is there any questions from the chat?
We do. How do I convince a seller with an expired to give me the listing? What can I say that will make a difference and get the property sold?
Okay, so that's from BB Khan, right? I see it here. Hi, BB. So BB's question, how do I convince a seller with an expired to give me the listing? So in other words, it's an expired listing that you want them to list with you. Well, without knowing all the particulars, just to give you an overview answer to an expired, the good thing about expireds, gang, is that if they list with you as opposed to their previous agent, almost always they'll come out at a lower price. So I love expireds for that reason. They understand what price works and what doesn't work. They've already been there, done that with the other agent. They may be looking for a change. So it makes it easier for you to prospect and do expired listings. The biggest thing I can tell you when it comes to expireds, I know this is going to sound redundant, but for those of you who've been with me before, but that is making sure that when you explain the marketing that you do, that you use metaphors and analogies. I can't stress that enough. Most agents do not do what I'm telling you to do. So if you go on a listing appointment with an expired and you explain to an expired, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, one of the great things about the multiple listing is it's kind of like, and you saw the value when you hired your agent, it's kind of like a mall. You know, if you were going to open up a shoe store, you had a choice to open up a shoe store either in a building on the corner by yourself or open it up in a mall. Now, a mall costs more money per square foot, but here's why. When you own your own store, you only have, the only buyers you're going to attract are people that are looking to buy a pair of shoes. But when you go into a mall, somebody may be in the mall to buy a dress. While they're in the mall buying a dress, they say, hey, maybe I need a new pair of shoes with this. So the point is the mall, other stores help bring other business that you wouldn't have had necessarily when you're out there by yourself. And that's, to me, that's what the multiple listing is when you list there, you're like part of a mall. Now, once you get on the list, it's important that we promote it out there. Here's how I do my broker's open house. And then I use the analogy about broker's open house being like a fashion show in New York City. When they have a fashion show, the designer promotes to the news media and to the fashion industry, hey, I got a new line of clothes. So who comes to the fashion show? First of all, there's food, there's camera, there's a lot of hype. Now, once the people come to the show, who's in the audience is buyers from other companies and stores. They look at the line of clothes. If they see something they like, they say, I want to put an order in. They take that dress, that outfit, whatever, and bring it to their store to sell it to their buyers. Mr. Masana, to me, that's what Broker's Open House is. See, the only difference is you're like the featured product. So what we do is we have the brokers come here to your house, see it. If they like it, they bring it back to their store, to their buyers, to try and sell your property. So anyway, my point here, BB, I'm rushing through this a little bit, but what you want to do is when you explain the marketing tools that we do, when you use a metaphor analogy, it's going to sound totally different than the other agent that they had listed with. And it's happened to me a million times where homeowners would say to me, boy, no one's ever explained it to me this way. Just give me the paperwork, let me sign. So did that help you, BB? I see that you're chatting. While she's going to chat, somebody else, what questions do you have? Thank you, BB. Who has another question? It's up to you.
Hi, Darryl.
Who is this?
Darryl, this is Pat Taylor. I've got a question for you.
Hi, Pat, and I see you on the camera. Oh, you're a tech-savvy girl.
Here I am. How are you?
Good.
I have a question about creating urgency within buyers.
Yes.
In the market that we're in, properties are moving very quickly. They're going very, very fast.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to see people miss things, but sometimes saying I might need to look at something more, etc. So how do we create that urgency?
Yeah, great question. It's Pat, right?
Yes.
All right. By the way, Pat, where are you located and what company are you with?
I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I own my own company.
Okay, great. So, Pat, what I suggest you do with your buyers, and again, this is a great question for everybody on the call, is to set the tone before you take them out. Okay, so what I would do is when you sit down with the buyers, I would first give them a market update, what's happening in the real estate industry. So I would show them days on market. And hang on a second, I'm going to show you something else. Give me 1 second. I want to jump to something here, Pat. So give me 1 second. That'll help show you too. If you go to Classroom on the Power Program website, you're going to see Playing with Buyers. And when you click on Playing with Buyers, oh, you know what? I don't see it here. Julie?
Uh-huh.
We're missing, oh no, there it is. Who says it's not a good time to buy now? I'm sorry, there it is. Nope, it's there. So Pat, it's the second to last bullet. We're going to be adding a lot more items to this page, but when you go to that second to last bullet, you'll see Robert Shiller's quote. You might have seen me do this in the seminar. He says it would not be a mistake to buy a house right now. And then Warren Buffett, he said, I would buy up a couple 100,000 single-family homes if held for a long period of time, purchase a low rate, houses are even better than stocks. So what I would do, Pat, is I would show a couple of these things. There's probably other items that you can use in the Power Program website here. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but I would try and show them, oh, here's something else. What is the American dream? If they have children, there's some stats here that shows how children do better in homes that are owned versus rented. So there's a lot here you can use that I would show a buyer before you take them out. In addition, this is the most important part, Pat, is I would show the buyer your MLS stats. I would show them the average sales price this year compared to last year. The average days on market, and that's a good one. If the average days on market has shrunk considerably over last year than now, do you know what your numbers are in your market? Days on market, roughly? I can't hear you, Pat.
The price point, you know, not many. In up to like 300, maybe like 8 or 9 days.
Okay, good. So I would show them that. You show them days on market of 8 or 9 days. What are you telling the buyer? You're telling the buyer when a house comes out, it's gone in a week.
Right.
Now, the reason why this is important is because if you tell them that, they're not going to believe you. But if you show them the actual data from your MLS, now it's more credible. So now when you start showing property, if they see something they kind of like, they remember that conversation you just had, that this house, how long has this house been on the market? 6 days. Oh my God, and the average is 8 days. You know, we better pull a trigger. So I would show them days on market. I would show them the prices if they've gone up over last year and the number of inventory that's available, okay? And I'm assuming that inventory has shrunk in your marketplace too, because that's what's happened nationally. So I would tell them, listen, there is not an abundance amount of homes. There is what there is, so you have to be committed to buying a home now, not be committed to shopping. So anyway, those are some of the suggestions that I would do to help a buyer pull the trigger right now. One other suggestion, Pat, if you've got some buyers that you've been working with for a while and you've shown them listings, any of those listings that have sold, the ones that they looked at but didn't move on, I would actually send them an update telling them, hey, Mary, this is Pat. How are you? I just want to touch base with you. I want to see if you guys are still looking. You know, unfortunately, those houses that I showed you on 1010, 100, they're all sold. So the good thing is we've got some other new properties, but, you know, things are moving pretty quick. So I just want to let you know. So that also creates a sense of urgency, too. Okay, did that help you, Pat?
Very much, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, next person, who's got a question?
Darryl, real quick, I did want to let you know that in terms of statistics, the blog that went up for today has a new infographic available that has the commitment from agents to children.
Okay, so I love you, Julie. Let me see. Here it is.
Right there, you're changing lives.
Okay, so on the blog, the most recent blog that we posted today shows the children stuff. Let me see, you're changing lives. So there's a video of me going over that. Oh, yeah, there's the infographic. Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Well,
click on that. The
all
last
right,
one there.
It's the last one. Okay, so this is an infographic that we can actually, Pat, you can print this out. It's still loading on my computer here. So there's the infographic. I remember us putting this together. Yeah, this is great. So, Pat, if you were to, you could print this out, this infographic, if you're dealing with any parents that you're showing property to based on actual studies, how children do better. And the reason why you'd show that to a buyer before you take them out is to get them into that whole buying mode and to get excited because, you know, here's what happens with buyers. They're either excited about home ownership or they're nervous about making a mortgage payment. And it's almost like a scale. And the closer they get to pulling the trigger, the more afraid they become. So part of what we need to do in working with buyers is to keep them further on the scale of excited about home ownership during the process from the time you meet them to the time they pull the trigger. And this is an example of doing that. And by the way, Pat, you can use this as a mailer. You can use this listing appointments to show homeowners this is the kind of counseling that you do for your buyers. Okay, great. Julie, great job. Okay, somebody else, you have a question for me. And by the way, some of you, if you're not, in order for you guys to see this stuff, you have to be logged in. You know, if you try clicking on it, you're not going to see it. Okay, is there any? All right, Sandra has a question. Grace, Julie answered Grace's question. She said she can't see the screen. But Sandra, I have a riverfront listing for 1.1 million almost on the Jersey Shore that is not getting the showing. It's been on the market for years, and other agents at a much higher price. So you've lowered the price. Now they need to sell. The price is fair, but still the agents or brokers pass it by as that house has been on the market for years. How do you remarket and get agents and clients to look at the house? Okay, great question, Sandra. So overall, everybody, here's Sandra's question. What happens when you've got a listing that's been on the market? Doesn't matter the price, but this is 1.2 million. What happens when you have a house that's been on the market for so long that it now is a negative? And that's tough. You know, houses are like bread. When bread is sitting on the shelves, when it sits too long, it gets stale. Now, all of us know this. All of us know that when we have a listing that we know has been out there, it could be with another real estate company, it's been out there for months, years, we say, oh yeah, that house. So you've got to bring life back into this, Sandra, so I'll give you a few suggestions. Number one is you're probably going to have to get more diligent in you trying to sell it yourself. That's going to be the best answer, quite frankly. You know, and there's a whole bunch of other ways of doing that, you know, knowing your market, whether it's, you know, on luxury homes, advertising on that, going into social media, and finding any closed groups, which, by the way, is a great technique for everybody, is that some of the areas you work, there's a closed Facebook group for that town, for that township, for that subdivision. You know, you should find those and become active in them, because if you're active in them and you're commenting and you're sharing and you're giving ideas, be careful. I don't want you to become active where you're always pushing your listings or pushing yourself, because that will turn people off. Active means you're giving more than you're taking. So when you see somebody post a question that they need a recommendation for a landscaper, you recommend that person. Somebody says they lost the dog, you say, let me see if I can put flyers out for you. What area is it? So it's almost like you become you elect yourself as the administrator of this group because you're participating that much. And then after you've done that for a little while, then you can throw a little bit of real estate here, a little bit of real estate there. So, hang on, I lost it. So Sandra, I would look at ask yourself the question, what's all the different marketing things that you can do? Have an open house, again, on that property, public open house, do the public open houses longer, create mailing lists and email lists of financially strong people. Just, you've got to probably work harder to try and sell it yourself. That's number one. As far as the other brokers are concerned, Sandra, what I would do is two things. If you haven't already done this, is I would not rerun the listing. I would fill out a whole new listing agreement, depending on your MLS. Sometimes when you withdraw or you cancel a listing agreement and get a whole new MLS number, it creates a whole new set of records for it, and it comes out new for people. Sometimes that gives it a little extra something. Number two is most definitely is change the pictures. Because if you're using the same pictures that have been used for the past couple of years, people are going to see it as, oh yeah, that old house. I'm telling you, that's a huge thing. If you take different photos, different angles, it will look like a new listing, and that will bring some fresh eyes on it. The third thing is I would raise the brokerage fees, and not lower the price, but raise the fee. If your average fee in that market is, I'm just going to pick a number, say 6%, I would do 7%. I'd ask the homeowner to bump it up 1%, and I might even, if it's 50-50, right, 50% to the selling broker, I might even do this. Not maybe, I would do this. I would tell the homeowner to go up to 7%, And now I wouldn't pay out 3.5%. I'd actually pay out 4%, and I would keep 2.5%. I would make this so attractive for other agents. The last thing I would do is I would have a special get-together, cocktail, champagne night, have a mortgage broker sponsor it, and re-invite the brokers over to that house, do brokers open house and a networking event at this home. And when you get all those brokers together, you tell them, listen, here's the deal, and you try and really push it face-to-face with the brokers. Sandra, did that help you? I just gave a whole slew of thoughts on that. Did any of that help you? Text me, baby. All right, while she's writing, somebody else who has a question. You can hit *6 to take yourself off mute. So that way...
Hello?
Yes, who is it? Hello?
Hi, Darryl. Can you answer a question, please?
I certainly can. That's why I'm here.
This one you're going to love. I need to know where the best place to have them do reviews for me, because I've sold so many houses, but my online presence is weak, and it's killing me when I come across 4 agents for an expired listing.
Okay, hang on a second. It's killing you. What's that last part you said?
When I'm competing with other agents, as many as 4 for an expired listing, because I don't have a strong online presence anymore.
Got you. Wow. Okay, so, and you want to know how can you get testimonials to put online?
Correct. Where's the best place to put them? There's so many places right now.
You know what? That's a great question. I've never gotten that question before. Julie, do we have a company that we recommend on this?
Well, I think a lot of agents are using the Zillow reviews, or are pushing people towards Zillow, and then repurposing those testimonials in different ways. So you've got an online RSS feed from Zillow or from Yelp or from Google reviews. You can use all of them, and there's no reason you shouldn't use all of them. And then pull those reviews back into your site. So there's a feed on your site where the reviews that you are getting, they're coming through onto your website. And your web developers will be able to help you.
That is, Julie, what you just said is great, because actually one of our VIP power agents, Rachel Rose, that's exactly what she does. And I totally forgot about that. She uses Zillow, and she gets reviews, and then she repurposes it. She shares it on social media from there. Mm-hmm. The other thing I would do, which might even be easier or more fun, is are you having some closings?
Yeah.
All right, so you're doing, I'm sorry, what's your name again, hon?
Grace.
Great. All right, Grace. So here's what I would do also, is I would take my iPhone or smartphone, whatever you've got, and I would get testimonials from your clients that you worked with, especially at the closing table, and I would just put them on the spot. I would just hold that camera and say, I want to capture this moment. You say it, whatever your style is, Grace, to have fun with the buyers or with the sellers, and say, did I do a good job? Do you mind can we capture this moment? And then you just ask them a couple questions, and then I would share that on Facebook. I would share it on Instagram. Obviously, using Instagram, so a lot of agents do well with that, the photos and videos, and getting comments that way. Does that help you, Grace?
It does, Darryl. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you one other thing, Grace. I'm going to tell you what I personally use, that might help you. And Julie, let's do Ilaria. Oh, Ilaria's on the call, another one of our VIPs. Hang right there, Ilaria. But Julie, let's create an article for the power agents on giving them like 5 or 6 social media tips on how to get more. Is that a good one, Julie?
Yeah, I love it.
Grace, so what I'm going to do for you, Grace, is Julie and I are going to do a little bit of research to give you more answers to this question, because I love it, and we're going to put it in together as a blog. Grace, what's your email address? Julie, jot this down, because I'm going to make sure when we post it, Grace, I don't need your email. Just give me your last name, Grace.
Rod Papadopoulos?
No, Grace. I know you. Wait a second. Yeah, Papadopoulos. All right. We've been talking about you in the office the past couple of days. All right. So We know who you are, Grace. We're gonna I'm gonna put together that article with Julie. When we post it, my office will let you know, so that way you'll find it.
Thank you, Darryl. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome, Grace. Great question. Great question. Ilaria, one of our VIPs, she just sent a text here through the message thing. Zillow, Realtor.com, and on your listing presentation. In fact, I would dedicate a page on the listing presentation with all the addresses of the houses you have sold. That's another. And here's something else, Grace. If you're competing with other agents, I would actually, if you've gotten any letters from other brokerages trying to recruit you, whether they sent you an email or they sent you a letter, I would save those. Don't throw those away anymore. Put that in your listing book. And when you meet with the homeowner, say, listen, you know, as a licensed agent, I get to choose what company I work for. And, you know, as a matter of fact, those other 4 agents you're thinking about talking to from XYZ Realty, here's a letter from them asking me to work there, but I chose not to because this company I work at is better. So there's another tip to help you, okay?
Thank you, Darryl.
All right, Grace, you're welcome. I think we got time for 1 or 2 more calls. Ilaria, thank you so much. That was a great suggestion. Hit *6 to take yourself off mute. And that way I can answer your question. Somebody else.
Hello?
Yes. Hello, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm a mature agent, and I feel that I know you have to be on every internet, like Yelp and Instagram and everything. And I'm just wondering if being a mature agent is a problem in this market. I'm in California, and where we are right now, everything's selling in, 3 days if it's got a decent price.
Yeah.
And my marketing, I admit, has been weak, probably. I do mail-outs and what have you, and I did not sell a lot this last year or two. So I don't have, I can't say I sold 50 houses, that type of thing.
Got you. All right, hon. So let me ask you, what's your name, by the way?
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Yes.
Bonnie, your answer to your question is going to, Janine just texted us a message about her restarting her business. So this is going to apply to her too. And by the way, this applies to everybody on the call that may be struggling at any level. But so Bonnie, the first thing I'm going to tell you is don't worry about the social media. Like if you're not tech savvy and you don't think you're going to get tech savvy, you can still make a really great living in real estate without having Facebook, social media stuff going. I do think there should be some kind of presence, like you should have at least a Facebook page that's business related. So there are certain things to do, but you don't have to be posting on Instagram or Facebook on a regular basis. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I got to interrupt myself. I didn't finish my answer, Grace. Bonnie, stay right there. I apologize. Grace, are you still there, Grace?
I am.
Grace, the social media platform that we use to post things, it's called Buffer, Buffer. And what it does is you can post one thing one time, and it'll post it on all of your other social media platforms. So let's say you write something and you put a photo, it'll instantly post it on Facebook, on your business page, on Instagram, on Pinterest. Are you with me on that?
I am. This is a great one. Thank you. I have not heard of it.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. It's easy to use. And so instead of you doing it 10 different times, you do it one time and it pushes it out there for you, okay? Bonnie, so back to you, Bonnie. Here's what I would recommend that you do. Depending on how much money you need to support yourself and to live, Bonnie, is, first of all, you may consider focusing more on working with the buyers. Second thing that you might consider doing is working with another agent and teaming up with an agent in your office that is younger, hipper, more tech savvy, and together you guys can work something where you both benefit. You know, you have years, you have experience, a maturity, you've got the younger person, so together maybe you guys can really kick butt. The third thing I would do is look at low-cost marketing items. So one of the things that I love to talk about is doing the neighborhood open house. So it's like a public open house, but you invite only the neighbors. And now if you don't have a listing, you can ask an agent if you can borrow their listing to do an open house in the neighborhood. And you invite the neighbors so they can see the neighbor's home, but you can also get to meet the neighbors and offer free CMA. So I would try and look at, Bonnie, you know, doing things that doesn't cost money. You know, you doing mailings, as you already probably know, that probably hasn't really given you a return for the money invested. Am I guessing correctly?
True. And my company is very aggressive, you know, as far as we have mobile apps and what have you. So I'm somewhat computer savvy, obviously,
yeah.
but I just feel like I'm not probably up with wherever the young ones are, you know, so to speak.
Yeah, and Bonnie, here's what I want you to do, darling. I'm going to tell you, here's something that I learned. This is for all of us on the call, right, is that, Bonnie, there's things that I'm really good at, like I'm better than most people, and then there's things that I suck at. And when I was young, when I was younger, I was, you know, when I was in the speaking business, I'm in the speaking business. When I first started the speaking business, I tried to get great at everything. And what I realize now is that I was never going to get great at everything. As a matter of fact, all the time that I spent trying to get great at something took away from time I could have spent on doing the things I was already good at. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So you cannot, so I'm going to tell you right now, Bonnie, if you try and get tech savvy and that's not your thing, it's not going to help you, it's going to hurt you. So own the fact, you know, sometimes our weakness can be our strength and vice versa. So, you know, you have something, here's a weakness that the younger kids have, Bonnie. And we've heard this, I've heard this from so many leaders in the real estate industry. A lot of the younger kids, and Margaret actually talked about this, the person we interviewed this month, where is she, Margaret? You know, Margaret is a mature person. She's not old, she's a mature compared to the kids in real estate. And here's what she said to me, Margaret, a very profound thing. She said, the kids that are really tech savvy, what she's noticing is that there's a little bit of a weakness that they have in personal skills, one-to-one, belly-to-belly, face-to-face with buyers and sellers. Because a lot of them have been living behind a computer screen or texting on their phone. Are you with me, Bonnie?
Yes, yes.
Your strength is you know how to be and interact with other people. So focus on your strength. Do not focus on your weakness, and consider what I said about teaming up with somebody, okay?
Yes, I'm going to do that. We already are. Thank you.
Bonnie, thank you. All right, gang. Well, listen, that's pretty much the end of our call.
Yep.
Julie, did you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to let everybody know that your date has changed for the next Power Hour. It's going to be June 11th, so that'll be posting. But I just want to let everybody on the call know.
The next Power Hour is June 11th?
Well, there's been a change to the June 11th.
Oh, there's been a change. Okay. So, in other words, when we go to the homepage, if you want to know the next call, the dates are here, and so the June 11th is going to be changed. Is that right, Julie?
Yeah.
Okay. And plus, we're going to have a webinar before June 11th. Yeah. Actually, we're going to have one before May 14th, right? So we'll send you the notice about the webinar. That's going to be on the listing appointment, and my office is in here. Is that something else? No?
June 4th is changed to June 11th. That's all.
June 4th is changed to June 11th. Oh, it is June 11th. Okay, so it was June 4th, but now it's June 11th, and we've already changed the website. It says it there. I got it. Okay, great. So the date on the website is correct. Let's see, what's the last thing I want? Oh, I want to read something to you guys before you go. And I found this note that was in my file and stuff. Like sometimes when I'm driving, flying, traveling, I have a thought. And I wrote down this thought. If you believe in your product, but you're insecure, not because of the product, but because you judge your ability to present your product, the problem is we think the answer is to present better. But when that focus is more on you and less on the product. So don't focus on your presentation, but focus on the passion of your product. So let me just say that a different way, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. For any of you, if you ever feel any kind of insecure about your presentation, your dialogue, that focus is on you. And the best thing for you to do is to take the focus off of you and focus on your passion for real estate. What do you love about this business? How can you serve and help other people? If you focus on that, you'll attract more, you'll produce more, because that's where the real magic is. And your presentation and your skill will rise to the occasion. Speak from your heart, not your head, okay? So, all right, let me say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to take you all off mute. All right, so that way we can say goodbye. Hang on one second.
Goodbye. Thank
Good. Bye, everybody.
I'm going to.